Steve.
Thank you. All right. Good morning. All right. Now, you probably have seen this ad before. How would you like to make a 5-figure fee in a 45-minute keynote? Anyone would like to do that? You forget to ask which currency it is. 5-figure in USD. Yeah, all right, that's good. Now, how frequent would you like that to happen?
As much as you want to work.
Once a month, as much as you like it. Are you really sure as much as you like it? Now, when we talk about aligning value, model, and impact, the model part is not the model you saw on stage yesterday, last evening. The model, what I'm talking about is about your business model. You see, when we do speaking engagements, when we are speakers, we can kind of put things into different perspective. So let's say we have a chart over here, and on the top of this is how much money you are going to make. And on the other part of it, the x-axis, it's about how frequent you get booked for speaking, right? And with anything that we are talking about, business model, all those very profound things. By the way, if you want to make your speeches more profound than it already is, one easy thing to do is always make it into a 2x2 matrix like this. And then it's like, wow, so cheap. Oh, very profound. Right. So, and this is what you can do. No, somehow when we first started as speakers, as trainers, as coaches, consultants, what we first start is we probably start around here, right? We don't get paid. You don't get invited very frequently. This is what we call, due to space constraint, I'm going to use one letter. Moonlighting. You are working somewhere in your full-time job, doing something else, and maybe you get invited to do some association speeches. Maybe you join Toastmasters. Maybe you do training internally for your colleagues, etc. So you may be paid a little, some honorarium, and you don't get to speak that very often, right? And as you move forward, you get more and more frequent gigs. You get to be booked more often. The pay also went up a little bit. How many of you train a lot for HRDC since we're in Malaysia? Right. So some HRDC trainers that I know, wow, they get booked like 10 days a month or even more every single month. Right. So when you get to this part of it, it becomes stability. You got stable income. It's quite frequent. The pay may not be really, really high, but it's really good regular income. Yeah. And then, what about here? You get a lot of pay. It's like the 4 or 5-figure USD kind of engagements that you have. It may not happen that frequently, right? Maybe once a year, once in 2 years, you really get a really, really good gig. This is what we call a windfall, right? So it's like you got this gig. It's really, really fantastic, right? And what about here? Does anybody want to go into here? You get paid a lot of money and you get it very frequently. Anyone?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because this may not be as good as you think it is. This is potentially burnout. This is where you may get burnout. And here's just what happens. So as a journey, as we are doing speaking gigs and training gigs and then so on, engagements and go on. So we start here. And somehow we get to somewhere here, it gets very regular and you get more pay, right? And then what happens next? you may get to somewhere here. Your fees go up by somehow, and your engagements get so much that it may not be good for your work-life balance. It may not be good for anything at all. One of the speakers that I know in APSS in Singapore had 100 flights booked for work a year.
Wow.
Just imagine that. Well, it's a lot of money to be made, but it's a hell lot of traveling, right? How many of you wish you could spend more time with your family? Ta-da! That's what. And talking about this morning, we had tales about mortality, right? People dying and all that. And guess what? Last night, before I came on stage, I got a call from my colleague. Her father was supposed to join his old school reunion and collapsed and died. So just right before I came on stage last evening, I was texting Irvin that I may not be able to join the stage in time because I was on a phone call that I could not just say, sorry, I'm busy, I can call you later. Right? I can't do that at all. It's one of those things. And I mean, in a way, that issue of losing someone, some loved one did not happen to me, that's good. It does tells us that there are times that we would want to kind of have some balance between what you do for a living, what you do to make money, and how you would like to divide your time according to what you really makes you happy in life, right? And of course, what could be a good balance? Does anybody wants to reach the part that is marked X? You don't need to work a lot of time. You don't need to work all the time, but you can get paid a hell of a lot of money. Yeah? Yeah, that is that spot. So how do we get there? I mean, we have a lot of speakers. They gave great tips. There are things you can do technologically. There are things you can do on branding basis. There are things you can do in a speech craft. There are many, many ways. And for my part, I'm going to just share one more model. And since we're talking about impact, creating impact, there are 4 ways that we create impact, or 4 aspects of impact, right? So if this is going to be a building, and when you give a speech, when you give training to your customer, your client, assuming that it's going to be a company or some organization that pays you, one of the impact is got to be, I'll change color. One of it is going to be the organizational impact. What is the impact you deliver? What is the value you deliver to the people who are working in the company? How does it help management? How does it help the company to maybe make more sales, reduce some costs, increase productivity, make some changes, be more adaptable to the future, and so on? Something that you say has got a great impact on the organization, right? The second part, it's going to, I'm sure that, especially if you do training, speeches as well, but especially if you're doing training, what happens at the end of almost every training? What do you do? Evaluation. And if you want to be booked the next time again, what must you do with the evaluation?
5 out of 5 MBS score.
You can have MBS score. So there are certain things you do for the participants, right? So they must like you. They must see value in what you deliver. They must be engaged by what you do. They must find that, hey, what you say makes sense. It resonates with me. I can do stuff with this. I can take away and change the world with whatever you say. So there must be value to the participants. Okay?
Yep.
Right. And the third impact, third pillar, it's about your solutions. In other words, you have how to. Oh, finally, I got great markers. Thank you. You probably will need to have some solutions, some takeaways, some know-how, some skills that are easily implementable by the participants. Your solutions must somehow fit into the business reality, cultural context, business constraints of your participants. You cannot say, hey, I got this $1 million plan. If you spend $1 million on certain things, you will get through with things when the company is really trying to cut costs. You can't say, we need to have direct feedback. If there's anything the boss says it doesn't make sense, you just tell the boss directly. When in actual fact, in that company culture, when anyone disagrees with the boss, especially publicly, what's going to happen? Yeah. Actually, it's worse than termination.
Cold storage.
You get publicly humiliated by the boss. That's worse than termination. And what happens when one person gets publicly humiliated by the boss? What happens to everybody else? Yeah, no one wants to talk anymore, right? So you gotta give tips, you gotta give know-how and takeaways that can be delivered, that can be done in that organization, in that context, right? And what do you think is the last pillar? Finally, I got thick markers at the right time. Guess, out of all the impact that you can deliver, which one will be the most important? And we are looking at them right now. You. Why is it that we want to hire you as a speaker? Why is it that we want you as a trainer or as a coach or a consultant? Why you are that delivering and being the medium that delivers the message and bring the point across? Why don't I just buy your books, read your PowerPoints, give me an email, give me a text? Why do I need you on stage in front and interact with us? There must be something about you, whether it's your stories, whether it's your expertise, your know-how, your insights, something that you deliver and resonate with the audience. There's something about in you that makes the client wants to engage you, and hopefully again and again and again. So think about what is it that you bring to the table, to the audience. Yesterday we talked about the difference between humans and AI. And what does human have that AI does not? Feelings. What else? I'm doing some training recall. How much do you still remember based on yesterday? You got empathy, you got talk about feelings, you got imagination, you have a sense of purpose, you resonate with people, you connect with people that AI cannot do. And that's part of you. So if you want to go to the part where you want to work less and get paid more and create more impact, these are the four pillars. And of all the four pillars, probably the you part is the key thing for you to go on further. So, what is it that we can take away from this session?
Work less, make more money.
Work less, thank you. Work less, make more money. What else? Impact? Sorry? The impact that you bring. What else?
Be choosy about the choices.
Be choosy about what you do. The thing is, again, it's all about aligning. What is your value? What brings you to become a speaker in the first place? What is it that you do that creates a greater impact? What is the kind of lifestyle or career path that you want to have? And how can all these be aligned all together? And for the last 1 minute that I have, can you turn around to a partner? Can be from the same table. You don't have to stand up. And just share one thing with your partner. What is it that you can do differently moving forward that will create more impact to your audience, to your customers, that will give you the life you want?